SLOB by Alan Porter. Chapter 1. My name is Owen Birnbaum, and I'm probably fatter than you are. This isn't my low self-esteem talking. This is pure statistics. I'm 5'2" and I weigh 156 pounds. That's 57% fatter than the national average for a 12-year-old boy. I'm also probably smarter than you. I don't mean that as an insult. Again, statistics. They had my IQ tested in the second grade. I won't tell you my school. Actually, I can't tell you my school because I promised my mother I wouldn't do that anymore. I used to tell everyone. My mother said that was obnoxious. I think she was also worried about giving my sister Jeremy a complex. Jeremy is a year younger than I am and not the brightest crayon in the box. She's a good kid, just very social in the cerebral cortex region. I'm sure you've noticed that a lot of books start out with some kid's first day at a new school. You can see why, of course, it makes for great suspense. The new kid is feeling very nervous. Everything seems slightly sinister. Half the kids in the class look like they want to smash his face in, and the other half look like they would love to see the first half of the class smash his face in. The thing is, when you're better and smarter than the national average, practically every day is like the first day at a new school. So I'm starting this book on a Tuesday, and the school has already been in session for a few weeks now. I go to Martha Doxey School in New York City, a 3-story red brick nightmare of educational progress. They have this thing called the desk glass classroom, where everyone does what interests them. We have different workstations: science, writing, global studies. We choose what we want to study at any given time. No desks, just workstations, which are basically desks. The school's motto is compassion, not competition. The thing is, most kids don't give a fly's fart about the compassion. Exhibit A, my missing Oreo cookies. Kids will bring their own lunches, put them up on the top shelf of a hallway closet just outside their classrooms. Mom always puts my lunch in the clothes sack, which is made of recycled socks or something like that. My name is printed on it very clearly. She always puts 3 Oreos in an eco container, which is made of recycled shower curtains. I'm not kidding, they really are made from shower curtains. 3 Oreos at lunch. That's our agreement. Since I started this new diet. At first, she tried to give me some of the fake Oreos, which the organic ingredients and stuff like barley and cane juice, but I put my foot down there. The cookie part actually tasted pretty close to the original, but the cream inside was all wrong. When you open the cookie and try to scrape the cream off your teeth, it all came off in one sticky disc and sort of dangled from the inside of your top teeth. If you didn't catch it in time, it just plopped down into your lap. Completely unacceptable. We argued about this for a long time, but I wouldn't budge on the issue, so she finally gave in. I've had 3 bona fide Oreos in my lunch ever since. It's a ritual for me. I look forward to them. I really do. It's like a spiritual thing. No matter how lousy my morning was, those 3 Oreo cookies reminds me that life also has its high points. It's moments of bliss. If there was any day I needed a moment of bliss, it was that day. The Martha Doxey School is progressive in every except gym class. As far as gym goes, are totally conventional. Bad uniforms, ridiculous stretches exercises that make your bad uniforms right up into all the wrong nooks and crannies. Ropes to burn your inner thighs on, volleyballs to slam at each other's heads, basketballs to pass only to your friends. In gym class, the school's motto reverses itself. Competition, not compassion. The gym teacher is Mr. Bully. A nice, cozy, snuggly name. I really think that people should be named more appropriately. They used to do that back in the 14th century. If you're a potter in the 14th century, you were named Mr. Potter. If your father made beer, Mr. Brunner, no surprises. Back in the 14th century, Mr. Bully had been named Mr. A few fries short of a Happy Meal. Mr. walks like a constipated ape. Mr. hates unasked kids and enjoys seeing them suffer. In the locker room, I tinkered around with my combination lock for a while, waiting until most of the boys were changed and heading out to the gym. I always do that. When the locker room was pretty much empty, I quickly changed into the gym uniform of white t-shirts and blue shirts. I do it at lightning speed in order to make it out to the gym on time. It takes 34 seconds on a good day, 46 seconds if I have to undo any buttons. Then I rushed out onto the gym floor. Someone made a fart sound as I passed. That happens quite a bit actually. Mr. Bully was up front, engrossed in moving odd-looking equipment out of the sloppy room. I took my assigned spot on the 12D grid. The numbers run along the front and back walls of the gym, and the letters run along the side walls of the gym. I stood right next to Andrea Bertoni. He was already stretching, even though he didn't have to yet. He swung his adult-sized muscle-bound arms from side to side and bounced on his toes, as though he was preparing for the Olympic 400-meter dash. "What's up, Flapjack?" he asked, flashing me one of his movie star smiles. He's called me Flapjack for the past 2 years. I don't know why. It's idiotic, but people have called me worse. "What do you think all the stuff is for?" I asked him nervously, looking at the equipment that Mr. Bully was arranging. There were stands with metal poles across them, beefy-looking, vinyl-covered gizmos, loads of floor mats. "Looks like we'll be doing some gymnastics," Andre said busily. "Oh crap," I said it under my breath, but Andre heard. "Hey, Flapjack," Andre hissed, tipping his head in a gesture for me to come closer to him. I glanced over at Mr. Bully. He was kneeling down, unrolling a long blue mat on the floor. "Yeah," I said, moving closer a little casually. "You never know with Andre. Why don't you just get one of those fat exemptations?" Andre said quietly. "What?" I felt my shoulders stiffen up. "A fat exemptation. You know, your doctor writes it for you. It says you don't have to do the gym because you're so fat that exercise could make your heart stop." He thumped me on the back. He thumps me a lot. I grunted and started to walk back to my spot. But Andre grabbed my arm. "No joke, Flapjack. Look at the stuff." He nodded towards the apparatus. "You'll cripple yourself, and really will love it. It's not worth the pain." That's the thing about Andre Bertoni. You can never tell if he's being nice or mean. I often think I should hate him, but somehow he makes it difficult. Whenever Mr. Birnbaum is finished flirting with Mr. Bertoni, "You can get started on our stretches." Mr. Bully had finished unrolling the mat and was now glaring at me with his ape arms crossed over his ape chest. A chorus of sneakers and cackles rose up from the class. I have no trouble hating Mr. Bully instantly. Mr. Bully led us through a bunch of ridiculous stretching exercises. He knew he didn't do that himself. He never does. He just barks out instructions. That day, I didn't mind doing the stretching, though. It delayed what was to come. My eyes kept drifting over to the apparatus next to Mr. Bully. It looked evil. It looked like it was specially designed to humiliate me. I actually started to consider the fat exemptions. I wondered if that was a real possibility. Mom had taken me in for a check-up before school, and the doctor had clucked his tongue as he read the scale. Then he gave Mom what they call a firm talking to. I felt really bad for her. It's not her fault after all. That doctor might give me a fat exemptions. But I couldn't do that. I have too much pride. There's that saying, pride comes before the fall. Yeah, as I looked at the gymnastic equipment, there was going to be a lot of falling involved. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bully clapped so loudly that it echoed through the gym. P.S. This is an all-boy class, no ladies. Hardly, haha. For the next 3 weeks, we are going to try something different. We are going to challenge our bodies. We are going to test our fears. Andre Bartoni caught my eyes winked. I have no idea why. Maybe he was relishing the thought of having his fears tested. Or watching my fears being tested. I don't think I was the only one who was nervous about the gymnastics stuff though. I have enough presence of my mind to look around the faces of the other boys. A lot of them were eyeing the gymnastic apparatus apprehensively. One really skinny kid named Justin Esposito was actually clutching at his stomach as though he were going to be sick. I felt so bad for him that I almost forgot to feel bad for me. Nima would have liked that. He would have thought it was very bad-taste of me. I'll tell you about Nima later. Mr. Wu explained about the apparatus and what we're going to be doing on each one of in the next few weeks, whether we like it or not. We'll be flipping and flying in the air. We'll regularly be defying the law of gravity. But first he paused and looked around at all our faces. We stared back at him, waiting. He loved it. You could tell. First, we're going to learn how to do a somersault properly. A lot of the boys groaned, including Andre. I, on the other hand, felt like I had been handed a death sentence reprieve from the governor. Justin Esposito actually smiled. Big mistake. We'll start Mr. Esposito, since he's so overjoyed at the thought of doing somersaults. Get around the mat, gentle worms. Hardy ha ha. We stood on the either side of the long blue mat while Mr. Bully guided Justin Esposito to the front of it. Poor Justin looked like he was about to vomit. I was actually wishing that he would vomit so he'd be spared of vomit exemptions. But seeing someone vomit makes me want to vomit, so I took back the wish. I didn't think I'd tell Nima about that, since it was less than emphatic. Get down on the all fours, Mr. Esposito. Mr. Woolley commanded. Justin did. Now put your head down 2 inches in front of the lines of your shoulders, Mr. Woolley said. Legs hip width apart, toes toggled around under, tailbone down. Justin Esposito's ears were turning crimson, and he looked like he was in pain. Push your left hip out a little. Now tuck your head down and push with your toes. Now, push now! Justin's right leg kicked up and he topped over his right side. People laughed. I did too. I'm not proud of it. I almost didn't tell you. I definitely will never tell Nima. Mr. Bully could not have been more pleased. He didn't even have Justin try again. It would have ruined the moment if he actually managed to do a somersault on the second try. The next boy would manage a decent somersault. The one after that did too. Then came a kid who was one of the lousier basketball players, and he failed miserably. What I noticed though was that when the athletic boys were on the mat, Mr. Willie hardly gave any instructions at all. However, when one of us non-athletic types came to the mat, Mr. Woolley would bark out all these instructions about where to put their heads and how to adjust their hips. And by the time the kids was all situated, he looked at us stiff and unnatural, as if he were playing a game of Twister. When he pushed up into a tumble, he'd fall in a cocked way, which would make everyone laugh except for me. I wasn't laughing anymore. It was becoming clear to me that Mr. Woolley was setting these kids up. The way he had them place their bodies, they were bound to fall in the same weird way. It was pure physics. It made me so mad I wanted to rat out Mr. Woolley. I didn't though. I'm very non-confrontational. But I wouldn't laugh anymore. And next comes Mr. Birnbaum. Show us how it's done, Mr. Birnbaum. Mr. Woolley was already snickering, a pig goofball sneaker. He was really looking forward to this. The fattest kids in the class flopping on the mat like a giant ravioli. Hysterical. I walked up to the edge of the mat, avoiding the faces of my classmates. I could hear them laughing already. This is going to be so excellent, I heard someone say. All right, Birnbaum, down on all fours. Mr. Woolley started yelling his instructions at me. Arms, shoulders, wrists apart, head tucked, roam to the sky. The birds will think the moon has fallen. Everyone laughed at this. He waited till the laughter died down. Okay, now push your right hip out slightly. That was it. Woolley's little trick to get me to feel funny. Come on, Birnbaum, push out your right hip, he said. I wouldn't do it. And you know what? It was less about not wanting to feel funny than it was about Mr. Woolley thinking he was smarter than I was. He believed that no one knew that he was up to. That just defied me. If I push out my right hip, I said, my voice sounding strangled because of the odd angle of my head. I topple to the side when I tumble. Don't whine, Mr. Woolley snarled. Just do what I tell you to do, Birnbaum. There are other people waiting their turn. Now push out your right hip and shove off from your toes. It won't work that way. It can't. It's obvious. It's just simple physics. I probably shouldn't have said that. Mr. Woolley is pretty stupid. You should never let stupid people know that you knew they are stupid, particularly if they are your gym teacher. Mr. Woolley went very quiet then. My head was still tucked under my chin, so I couldn't see Mr. Woolley's face, but I could see the faces of some of my classmates. They were looking in the different directions of Mr. Woolley, their eyes wide. I started to get scared. Untucking my chin, I rolled back on the ball of my feet. Feet, Birnbaum, Mr. Woolley said. I froze. I was in roughly the position of a frog about to leap. Stay right there. He wasn't shouting now. He sounded. In fact, like he had an idea. I was close to terrified. I heard his sneakers squeaking against the polished gym floor as he walked away. Then I heard the squeal of the equipment door opening. There was some murmuring among the class as everyone wondered what on earth he was doing. Hang in there, Flapjack, I heard Andres say. You see what I meant about him. My thighs were beginning to burn from holding the awkward position. I didn't move though. I heard the sound of clacking in the equipment room. Also, Mr. Woolley was rummaging around for something. How bad could it be? I reasoned. He can't really do anything to physically hurt me. He'd get into much trouble for that, and there were witnesses. But then I remembered that Mr. Woolley was a few fries short of a Happy Meal. That was when my heart started pounding so hard I thought it might stop.